Hey everyone, today we're talking about how to root and grow wet sticks. So first off, if you don't know what a wet stick is, it is a piece of stem that has a node on it. What you really want to see is that growth point right there and then some roots right at the node. This is a few nodes in a row. You can see that it's 3 right where all of the roots are coming out of. The node is where all the activity happens on the stem. So we can turn this technically into 3 different plants. Now here's one that I started doing about 2 weeks ago. It's on its way. I'd say that's like kind of stage 1. And here is a bit of like a stage 2 plant. It's got the shoot actually coming out a bit. I planted it vertically so the roots would tap down and that the shoot would come up. And then of course what you end up getting is a little plantlet from your wet stick. This is ideal. We're gonna try and show you guys exactly how to do that and get the highest success rate possible for your wet sticks. So if the stem has been cut off for a bit, I'll actually soak it in a tub of water for about an hour just to rehydrate it if it's been off the plant for a few hours or a few days. If you're creating your own wet sticks, actually let your cuts callus for about 8 hours. You can go all the way up to about 24. But if you got it in the mail or something, just leave it in a tub of water for about an hour, I do, to let it rehydrate. And then you're going to use this node to be your key part. So as I said, there's multiple nodes here. So I'm gonna cut right here down the middle. So now I have one that we can focus on. Again, you see that shoot and you see the roots. This is a really easy one, obviously, because the amount of roots that are already there, the adventitious roots, that's really what you want to look for. But you just really need the bump of a root and the bump of a shoot to come out. If I rub away the leaf sleeve on the rest of this stem, there's the shoot for that one, and there's the shoot for that one. And we obviously have roots on both. So again, I cut down the middle to split these up because each wet stick needs to have roots and a shoot and that node, which is that center line. You want to leave some excess edge on both sides just in case you have any rot and you have to cut back. But the key here is going to be to not oversaturate your media so that these guys aren't sitting in water. So what we're going to be planting in today is a mix of hydrated sphagnum moss, and then I wrung it out, I squeezed it out, and then a 50% mix of perlite. So 50% moss, 50% perlite. This is nice and airy, and I just soaked it in plain tap water. So I've filled up a pot with my media, and then I have my node. How you place the node is important. Remember that shoots have an ability to detect gravity as well as roots do. Shoots will naturally go the opposite direction of gravity, away from the earth, and roots will naturally tap in directly into the earth. Here you can see that the shoot is above the root, which tells me that this is the top of the plant. So this one's pretty easy, but I'm gonna kind of stick it down into the media, just kind of place it right in like that. But my root is kind of still sticking out here. So I'm just gonna lightly cover it with a moss and perlite mixture. This is damp. This is not wet. Kind of like a sponge. When you take a sponge, fully saturate and squeeze it out, what's left over that amount of water, that's how much water's in here. Now I have that one planted, and I'm just gonna dribble over a small amount of water, maybe like an ounce or less than an ounce. I don't really even want any to come out of the bottom. And since I'm already in a grow room with above 60% humidity, I'm not worried about the humidity of this one, but I'll do another one for you guys that don't have a humidity increased space, and I'll show you how to kind of use some at-home products to increase your humidity. So this is just gonna go right in some bright light, some bright indirect light. If that's what you have, a windowsill would be great. You're just looking for that little shoot to start coming out and climbing out, and just keep it in this pot and just baby it until it's a good little plantlet, and just be really gentle with the roots. Now how I started this one is I started in one of these like parfait cups, which I've also used sauce cups before, but it's a really simple way to increase your humidity and create a small humidity dome for your plant. If you're already in a humidity increased space, don't use this because it will increase the humidity too much and it's going to rot out your plant. But again, 60 and up humidity and you're good to go. Here's another demonstration of planting the wet stick. Just right directly into your media, lay it on top like that. And then now I'm gonna kind of hold it with one hand and kind of fill in my media with the other hand to cover all of the roots. But what I don't want to cover is the shoot. and you can see it kind of right there poking out. That is where all of my growth is going to come from. And eventually when that guy starts growing up a little bit, sometimes I'll chop back this stem to kind of get it out of the way of the plant to allow it, because sometimes it'll grow directly into the stem. So I'll very carefully with a pair of sharp scissors or a razor blade, just cut it out of the way and allow that shoot to start running up. But I'm going to keep this media moist, but not dry, but not wet. So it's going to be this very light watering. If you have a heated area, that would be great. Try and keep your temperatures above like 65 Fahrenheit and all the way up to like 85. But no food yet until we have roots and we start seeing a little growth. Then we're going to start putting in a little bit of fertilizer to drive the growth on this plant. You're not always going to have 100% success rate, but the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. I probably have between like 85 and 95% success rate, and obviously the more roots you have on something, the easier it's going to be. Remember, this is the situation a lot of cuttings kind of get themselves in, because you take the cutting, the stem cutting, it has a leaf, a node, the little shoot along, and some roots, and you get it rooted, but this leaf will eventually eat itself back and kind of die off, and then you're going to allow and encourage that next shoot that's going to come out of the stem to be your primary growth point. Both of these plants were actually grown from wet sticks, so that's really what you're looking to see when that first leaf comes out. It's really exciting and then really rewarding to grow a much bigger plant from just a stem into a full-size plant. So try out growing wet sticks. It can be a little more challenging and it does look very daunting and intimidating, but treat it like a cutting and just allow it to establish its root system, and then put out that little shoot and just be gentle along the way and keep it in the right conditions. Treat it like a little baby. And with a little time and some luck, you'll have a whole new plant just from a little piece of the stem. Thanks you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy the video and or learn something new, please click the like button down below. And if you want to come back every Saturday for more houseplant content, click subscribe and we'll see you next Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day.